Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza, Pastoral Associate at St. Sabina Parish in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series question. As we continue our series on the principles of the Second Vatican Council, today's Do You Know question is, do you know the implications of the Vatican II principle of collegiality? Collegiality is the art and act of consultation, active involvement of all the stakeholders in the decision-making process. Now, this principle was very foreign to the Church for many centuries. It was really challenged the operating style of the Church because for centuries it saw itself essentially as a hierarchy. It's essentially more of a military style kind of structure. This goes all the way back to the Middle Ages. Some theologians even suggest that it begins with the age of Constantine, who died in the year 337 and so on. So in this structure, therefore, the way it would work is truth, holiness, the Word of God came from the Pope to the bishops, who were considered his officers or his lieutenants who carried out his orders, essentially. And then the bishops dictated those orders to the rest of the Church. And the Vatican II participants who came to the Council were very much aware of this history, and many of them saw it as a wrong way of operating. They were also very much aware of the collegial nature in the vision of the Gospels as well as in the vision of the early Church. And so what they did through their controversial and oftentimes heated discussion, they retrieved once again the principle of collegiality, and that principle runs through all 16 documents that were produced by the Second Vatican Council. So this principle envisions a church that is fully and thoroughly consultative. The Pope, who is a bishop himself, in union with the bishops, together determine the direction in consultative nature, determine the direction of where the church is to go in terms of carrying out the mission and ministry of Jesus. As it works itself down into the structure, bishops at the local diocesan level will consult with the priest and the diocesan lay people, together consult, again, what is the direction, the best way for the local church to carry on the mission and ministry of Jesus. And by extension, when you get to the parish level, the pastor himself, in consultation with all of his parishioners, determines what's the best way to carry out the mission and ministry of Jesus. So the principle of collegiality is evident throughout on the entire church structure, and should and must be present, according to the Second Vatican Council, throughout the church structure. The best articulation of this principle is in the Dogmatic Constitution on the Church, Lumen Gentium, Chapter 3, which talks about church governance and church hierarchy. I'd like to quote just one particular quote from that document, which reinforces this whole principle of collegiality. And this is from Lumen Gentium, the Dogmatic Constitution on the Church, number 30. It states that the sacred pastors indeed know well how much the laity contribute to the well-being of the whole church. For they know that they were not established by Christ to undertake by themselves the entire saving mission of the church to the world. They appreciate rather that it is their exalted task to shepherd the faithful, and at the same time acknowledge their ministries and charisms, so that all, in their separate ways, but of one mind and heart, may cooperate in the common task. And so that particular quote really emphasizes the fact that pastors in union with all of the people of God, the lay people primarily in the parish setup, together really use the gifts of one another and collaborate together in determining the mission and ministry that the parish is to take in that particular area. Since the Second Vatican Council, many structures, many consultative structures have been established. For example, we have synods of bishops. We have national episcopal conferences, diocesan parish, diocesan consultative councils. We have parish councils and so on. And all these councils are good in the sense that they exist. However, many of them do not function at all in taking the principle and the dynamics of collegiality seriously. Because the principle of collegiality takes more time, consultation is more messy, time-consuming, really can be troublesome, can involve a lot of give and take. Because of that, oftentimes the default, simpler mode is to default to Father knows best. And therefore what happens is here the elimination of the wisdom of the people of God and of the parishioners is no longer there, and the dynamic of collegiality no longer works. So it's really important that the collegial structure of the church be really emphasized. The church is not a democracy, but neither is it any longer a monarchy, and therefore balance has to be established in order to work on the dynamics of collegiality in which all the people of God have wisdom and input into the decision-making process so that it can more effectively carry out the mission and ministry of Jesus in our day, in our world. So I hope this has helped to explain just a bit of what the implications of the Vatican II principle of collegiality is all about. And I hope you'll return again to more Do You Know series questions as we continue our exploration of the Vatican II principles. Thank you very much.